All right. Okay, so the next piece of the puzzle, we're actually going to create a SpecFlow project. To create a SpecFlow project, we're going to right-click, File, New Project. And then under templates, you're actually going to find a new SpecFlow template. So mine obviously says it right here, but I'm going to type in SpecFlow just so you can search it. And you can see the template for SpecFlow project shows up here. What this is going to do is it's going to create a project with a pre-set directory. So it's going to create an example feature file, an example step definition, and then it's going to include the usual directories. Now, some of the directories that it creates we may not use, but it's kind of a nice template to have when you first start your project. So I'm going to click next after I select SpecFlow project. I'm going to name this SpecFlow training. We'll do training. We'll hit create. And then for test framework here, it's important that we use SpecFlow plus Runner. So SpecFlow plus Runner is basically Microsoft's Runner for SpecFlow. The only caveat of using SpecFlow Runner is that you have to activate it after we choose to use it. It's a free activation, but it's part of Microsoft's process to, I don't know, capture information. I don't know what the reason for it is, but after we set this to SpecFlow plus Runner, we'll have to activate it by creating an account for each of us. So we'll show that in a second, but I just want everybody to understand that. For framework, I'm going to use .NET 4.7.2. And then we're going to click create. So after that's created, we'll have, so it's obviously created the template for us. So we have a couple extra ones that we will probably not use for this training today, which is going to be the hooks and the drivers. We're going to create a couple of different things besides that. So let me take a look here. All right. So,
and Mike, which framework was it? My VS crashed.
Oh, no, it's okay. .NET Framework 4.7.2.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. All right. So now that we have the template created, if you go to your Test Explorer, if you don't have Test Explorer down at the bottom, you can go to, I think, one of these, let's see, View, and then Other Windows. And Test Explorer is in there somewhere. Does everybody have Test Explorer on their main page? Oh, right here, Test Explorer. View Test Explorer. So at the bottom, basically Test Explorer shows you where all your tests are. But we need to build ours before it'll show up. So we need to build solution. Make sure that it says succeeded. And then if you go to Test Explorer, you'll see that the example test, or the example SpecFlow test, is a calculator app. And where that's coming from is obviously the features file that was automatically generated with our SpecFlow project uses this calculator.feature. This is just an example feature file, and then there's an example of step definitions that's created for that calculator.feature. Now, what we want to do first is we want to run all tests. So down in Test Explorer, I clicked Run All Tests, and I don't expect it to pass. So what we want, yours should not show this yield, but in your console, basically, there will be a link that says Activate. Let me go down to here so we have some understanding. Yeah, so basically, after you run all tests in the console, there's going to be a activation link in the console. So we're going to click that activation link. It's going to have a specific specialized token that is specific to your user, and then it's going to open up a Microsoft. Basically, it's going to open up a web page for Microsoft. You sign in with your account, your Microsoft account, so whatever your work account is. and then you complete the forms and finish the activation. I would do it, but I've already signed in, so I can't do that again. Is there any questions about this part?
No, I think I'm good.
I assume if it's not showing you anything for activation, you're already activated. I mean,
in your console, you're not seeing anything?
I'm not seeing anything now. I ran all
Okay.
tests. It says 0 succeeded, 0 failed, 1 up to date.
Okay. Let's see. Oh, so did you run it from here?
Yes.
Okay. And then when you select the test right here, over here, it doesn't say anything about activation link.
Let me see. What window is that? Test detail summary. It doesn't give any of that output.
Okay. Okay, so let's see. If you right click, okay, so I'm guessing there's probably a standard output that's not showing. This output is actually, is this what you were seeing before? This build?
Yes.
Yep. So this is the build. Oh, yeah, okay. So if we go up to here to this dropdown, we can switch it from build to test.
There we go. That shows a log file now. Okay, and then above it is the SpecFlow login.
Okay, perfect. Okay, awesome. But yeah, so if you're not seeing it, you can go to output, drop this drop down to test, because by default it goes to build, and then the activation link should be in there. So basically, after we have that SpecFlow runner set up, the next step is actually just to rerun the test that we tried to run again. What we should expect to happen here is that it'll give you like a hazard warning, basically saying that instead of restarting and not running at all, it should try to run and give you this kind of output. So basically, it's gone through the step definitions and tried to run them. Obviously, we don't have any page objects or anything that are tied to these step definitions, so that's why it failed. And it didn't really fail, but it didn't run any because it couldn't find any.